Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be teaching us how to draft this Victorian corset top that has lacing in front. Please, if this is something you like, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share. Please put your pattern on fold before cutting. So I've gone ahead to put the horizontal measurement. So from the waistline to the hemline, the distance I have is 8 inches. So I've also gone ahead to put the shoulder measurement. So the neck width I put in was 3 inches. Then I went down for 1 inch shoulder slope. I came in by the arm of half an inch. Then I marked the arm. Next thing now is that we're going to impute the nipple to nipple measurement. So the nipple to nipple measurement I'm working is 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. So I've gone ahead to mark it on the bust point line up to the hemline. So I've gone ahead to mark it. So the next thing now is on the under bust. I'm going to go in and out by 1 inch. I'm also going to mark it on the hemline. I'm going to go ahead and rule a straight line, just as you can see. I'm also going to do that on the other side of the pattern. That's the side front of the pattern. So the next thing now is I'm going to take my curve rule and curve the lines to meet the bust point, just like this. I'm also going to do the same at the other side as well, just as you can see. I'm going to go ahead and get the midpoint of the shoulder. So I'm going to connect it to the bust point line, just as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to impute the bust measurement, just as you can see. Then on the waistline, the waist I'm working with is 29, but I'm snatching it by 3 inches. So that's 26. So I'm just going to 26 divided by 4. That was what I was doing on my calculator. So whatever I had, I marked it there. Then I placed the 2 inches dart intake, just as you can see. So I just mark the hip measurement that I have divided by 4. Then I place the 2 inches dart intake. So the next thing now, I'm just going to connect the lines, just as you can see. From the waistline to the hemline, I'm just going to be curving the line just like this, not a straight curve. The next thing is to mark 1 inch for the bust dart. That's the difference between the front and back waistline. So I'm going to connect the points, the line to the bust point, just as you can see. So next we are going to close the bust dart so that we can do the shoulder tightening. So I'm going to use my paper tape to hold it down, just as you can see. So I'm going to use my ruler to rule the lines by the side to avoid shortage, to reconnect the lines. Next thing is to take your scissors to slash the shoulder open up to the bust point. Open it to the bust point. I'm also going to slash it open by the side like this so that the pattern paper can lay properly. So what I have in what I slash open on the shoulder, I'm going to divide it by 2. What I have is 1.5 divided by 2. So I'm going to mark it on that line. Then I'm going to mark it outside that line. So I'm going to open the bust dart so that I can be able to close the shoulder dart. So I'm going to slash it open, just as you can see, up to the bust point. So the next thing now is to close the shoulder dart, and so that we can rule, I can mark the new shoulder line and new armhole. So I'm going to use the paper tape to hold it down, just as you can see. I'm going to hold it down to the bust point, as you can see. So next thing now, I'm going to retake the new shoulder line to the point that I mark outwards, just as you can see. So I'm just going to connect it to that 0.5 inches I mark inwards. So that's our new shoulder line. So now I'm going to use this paper tape to hold the bust dart, because there's an opening there, we need to close it. So I'm just going to use the paper tape to close the bust dart like that. On the chest line, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches above. So I'm going to mark 1.5 inches. I'm going to rule a straight line, just as you can see. I'm going to rule a straight line. So next thing, I'm going to highlight the shoulder line, just like this. I'm going to highlight to make it visible. So I'm just going to label the pattern center front and side front. So next thing is to do the over bust tightening. So I'm going to mark 0.75 on the center front, 0.75 on the center front, and 0.5 on the side front. So 0.5 on the side front. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines, just as you can see. So now I'm just going to check which of it is more, so that we don't have shortage. So the center front is less, So I'm going to replace what I have on the side front to the center front, just like this. Then I'm going to roll a line across like this. Is a straight neckline. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to alter the neckline by half an inch. What I had for the neckline was 3 inches from the beginning, so what I'm marking now is 3.5. So I'm just going to connect the neckline to the over bust line, just like this, to this line. I'm connecting it like this, just as you can see. The next thing on the over bust, you know that we took in some things there, so I'm just going to replace just 0.5 inches. So now I'm just going to reshape the armhole, just as you can see. I'm just going to reshape the armhole like this. So that 0.5 is what I replaced. I'm not replacing 0.75 and 0.5. I just took just 0.5. So I've used the marker to outline the new armhole curve. On the hemline, I extended the length by 1 inch. So now I have 25 inches for the length. Before it was 24. So I extended it by 1 inch. So I'm just going to roll the lines like this and connect the lines. All the lines that needs to be connected, so I'm just going to connect it just like this. So we did some tightening at the over bust like this. So now I'm just going to be connecting it to the shoulder line as like this. I'm going to connect that line from the over bust that we tightened, because if we don't do that, the yoke will be longer, so we'll be having excess for the yoke. So I'm just going to roll this straight line across. So I'm going to show you how we are going to close up that place, so you are going to close up that place when you want to cut it out. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark 5 inches, just as you can see, I marked 5 inches. So the next thing is I'm going to close up this dart. So I'm going to close it up so I'll be able to do the curve part, the asymmetric hemline. So I'm just going to do it like this. I'm just going to curve out the lines, just as you can see. I'm going to curve it out like this. So I'm just going to also use my ruler to also get a nice curve. I think the thing was not given, so I'm just going to try and use the ruler to just get a nice curve as well. So I'm just going to do it like this. So yes, we have our asymmetric hemline. Make sure to close up that dart before cutting. I'm going to be putting the lines by the side. So now I'm going to be inputting this line from the tip of the over bust line that is connected to the arm like this. So I'm just going to connect it down to this dart leg on the side front, just as you can see. So I'm just also going to put another line by the side, because there are like 2 lines by the side also. So this is what we have. So these are the lines that we have. So you make sure that before cutting you close up your darts, and if you need to re-roll the lines, you roll the lines again to avoid shortage. So I'm just going to label the patterns, just as you can see. The line that I went out by 5 inches, I'm just going to mark 1 inch outward, just as you can see. So I'm just going to take the curvy part of my ruler and curve it to the waistline, just as you can see. I'm going to curve it to the waistline. I'm going to curve it to the waistline like this. Next thing, now we are going to be doing the eyelet face. So at the bottom of the hemline, I came in by 2.5 inches. So that's where the curvy part of stop. So on the over bust line, I marked, I think, 1.75 or 2 inches. So then I decided to mark half an inch on the waistline, but I didn't end up using that mark that I marked there, the line that I marked there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to connect it like this. I'm going to be using the curve part of this ruler as a guide for me. So that's what I did. So I use this ruler to curve the lines to get what I want exactly. So this is what I have. When I had to trace out the pattern to give me a full front so that I can explain more. So now on this yoke, this excess that I have here, is either I cut it out or close it up using paper tape. So that is that for that. So this is what the bottom looks like of the pattern. So the next thing is the center front where the eyelet is. So we have 2 fronts. So I'm going to trace out another center front, so which will be the inner. It's going to be the inner, then the eyelet on its own. So this is what we have for our pattern. You also close your bust dart before cutting out. So this is what we have. So this is what the bottom part looks like. So this is our pattern. So I'm going to go ahead to cut out the patterns. So you are going to be cutting 2 pieces for the ones on the side. The center front is having 2 pieces, and the sides they are having 2 pieces as well. But since it's a full front like this, so you just have everything that you want. So I'm just going to cut everything necessary. Make sure you close your bust dart, just as you can see. Then you can also retrace the lines if the lines are not straight. So please, if this is something you like, please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share. Just cut your patterns carefully. I'm also going to show us how we are going to go about with the yoke so that we don't make mistakes. Just keep cutting your patterns carefully. Trust me, you will get it. It's not something that is hard. Trust me, you can do it. You'll get it. So this is what we have. So this is the pattern, the piece for the center front where the eyelet is. So you are just going to carefully cut the middle points that we have traced. We are going to cut it carefully, just like this. So this is what we have. So now for the yoke, we are just going to close it by the side, just like this. I'm going to close it by the side, then use paper tape to hold it. If you see that one is longer than the other, just make sure that you add paper to it and reshape it. So I'm just going to cut for the other side as well, so that you can see when I place it on the pattern. So you can just use one to cut for two. Do you understand? So because of this tutorial, I'm just going to show us how to do the second as well. So I have placed the horizontal measurement, the shoulder line, chest line, waistline, hip line. The distance between the waistline and hip line is 8 inches. So I've gone ahead to place the shoulder measurement. I've ruled a straight line across. So the neck width that we are working with is 3.5 inches. So then 1 inch for shoulder slope. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it like this. So now on the chest line, I'm going to go up by 3.5 inches, then come in by half an inch. So I'm just going to connect the lines to get the armhole curve. So this is what we have. So the next thing is to impute the dart. It's just for a guide. So I'm just going to take the nipple to nipple measurement and place it on the chest line all through to the hip line. So I'm going to rule a straight line across, just as you can see. Next thing, I took the dart intake of 0.75 on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines on both sides, just as you can see. I'm going to connect it up to the hip line, just like this. We are going to go ahead and place the bust measurement, bust divided by 4. So I'm going to place it here. So the actual waist is 29, but we are snatching by 3 inches, which is 26. 26 divided by 4, you place it there, then you place the dart intake. So here I'm just going to mark the actual hip line, the actual hip measurement, So then I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines. Use the curved part of the ruler to connect to the waistline to the hip line, just like this. At the center back, below the chest line, I'm going to mark 0.75. So I'm going to be connecting it to the chest line by the side where the armhole point is, so just like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is on the hemline or hip line, I'm going to go up by 2.5 inches. So by the side, I'm going to mark 5 inches, just like the front. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the line, just as you can see. So on the side that I went down by 1.5 inches, I'm going to extend it by 1 inches, just like the way I did at the front. So I'm going to head ahead and use the curve rule to curve the lines, just as you can see. So the next thing, at the center back on the new hemline, I'm going to mark 1 inches, and on the new chest line, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and rule a straight line. So the point mark X will be what will be cut out, and that will be the space that's going to be at the back of the dress. I'm just going to divide what I have here into 2 and rule a straight line, just as you can see. I'm going to go ahead and label the patterns. So we have like 3 pieces for this part. So the space between the old chest line and the new chest line, I'm going to be dividing it by 2. I'm going to divide it by 2. So this is to eliminate excess at the back. So the point mark S will be cut out. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the neckline to that line that I marked, just as you can see. Now for the back neckline for the yoke, so I'm going to root this straight line to avoid gaping. Root this line like this, then you just slant it a bit. You can see just like you're using 0.25 on the two sides, not necessarily 0 point, but look at what I'm doing carefully. You just slant it this way. This is to avoid gaping of it. Then you go ahead and close it up, just as you can see. You're going to close it up. I'm going to show you how to do. So then we're going to cut out the pattern paper for the back, just as you can see. Please, if this is something you like, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. And if you have questions, please drop your questions in the comment section, and I'll be here to give you answers to your questions. So this is for the back pattern. So now I'm just going to show you how to close it up. So I'm just going to take so this is it. You just close it up, then use your paper tape. Just close it up carefully, then use your paper tape like this. The next thing, you are going to draw a new straight line. You're going to reconnect the line so that there's no shortage, just as you can see. So this is the new yoke that we are going to be using. We have eliminated the gaping at the back. So this is what we have for the back pattern. So this is it. Thank you guys for